What's up, everyone? This is the Godfather Dictator,
And Sarah from 17.
and welcome back to Chapter 5 of my No Damage Master Ninja run. And now we're in... Would that be like a part of Venice, basically?
I think this was definitely Venice inspired, the Aqua capital.
So
It also reminds me of a chapter in God Hand, which is very Venice inspired as well.
I think I saw some of it in your walkthrough. Is it possible?
Yeah, possible, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, when I say that, it's because you reached that part already. Because if not, you could have said, well, I didn't reach that part yet in my walkthrough, so it's impossible you have seen it. But
it's midway through the game, that sequence, so
Yeah, okay.
it can come quite quick if you're playing it.
And overall, though, this one, I guess, is not too bad. This section at the beginning, it's one of the most fair, if you want, early chapter section, I would say. Before you
But
reach
it's where the
first...
game kind of loses its throttle. Instead of being full throttle the whole time, it gives you a bit of space here and lets you kind of enjoy what you're doing.
But even the previous chapter, you know, with Alexei, the early gauntlet, terrible.
Yeah, that's a tough chapter.
And this one here, now they're giving you a good break. There's gonna be some lichen later.
I knew when you got to this part that you were going to speed up on your progress, because it's just that you're getting better weapons, you're getting better equipped, you're more comfortable with the game, and the game isn't throwing you so much, adversity all the time.
And you see that I wanted to go for the upgrade, but it's like slightly lacking.
Too poor.
The amount of essence. You see, that's another challenge to overcome along the way, because if I had farmed...
Kusarigama.
Really nice.
Here we go, we got the Wolf Bros.
So now, what am I gonna do? I think am I gonna use Nimbo or something? It's
Are you gonna do 360Y charges once you've got them all grouped up? Or are you grouping the two fights together, because there's another fight down here with wolves at the door?
Yeah, and I'm grouping not only this fight, but the other fight. I think I'm opening the door.
Wow, the frame rate's gonna get great if this was on 360.
And there we go. Okay, so...
And this one introduces the red guy, doesn't it? The guy that likes to chuck the corpses.
And look at this lineup.
Boom! Just need Dan Gafster to say, "Wind Blades!"
Well, you're there for this now.
If you've never seen him say that, dude, it's fantastic. You get so excited.
I had it in the original
wow.
version. Did you see the amount of...
That was so much death just then and destruction. This is a good way of doing this, as crazy as it looks.
Yes, because as I said, like, combining the fight can be bad, but because there's so many enemies, you save on resources. So if we'll say I would have used a Nimbo in the middle of one fight, well, there I used a Nimbo for a combination of three fight to go for a DLM, which also, you see, barely gives me the amount that I need to go upgrade the dual sword.
Straight back to Muramasa.
Yes, and I couldn't have made it better, you know. Like, the timing was perfect, because after this, in the next section, that's when we're gonna start using the double sword, because
this level was built for the swords.
They're really
So
useful
good,
against the wolf. Yeah, they're really good. And here I think I'm searching for a chest with a shroom in it, I think, if I recall, or some Nimpo in it. It's one of the two.
Joyous water movement. Oh wow, all three Nimpos.
Which means...
So you even had the leniency to use more against those
Yes.
lichens should you have needed to.
I did not, but I could have. So it's nice. It's nice to have the option, basically. I tried also. That's another thing, you know me, is I try to not to be too greedy with the use of Nimpo, even if I can afford it. You know?
You seem to run around more times with 3 stock than you do anything else. It's another rare quality, because most people will definitely use the Nimpo as much as they can, because it saves you so much.
It is. Well, it's one of the great iframe of this game.
Interesting.
And you see a wasted UT. I didn't.
Yeah, you tried to do the 360Y to trigger the fight, but you're a little bit too short.
And it's funny how, you know, because I remember clearly that section. It's funny how some of the previous attempt I actually triggered the fight.
Nailed it, yeah.
The beginning went good, and now that attempt that ended up being the successful one, I think must be one of the only where I could not do it.
It's kind of the ironies, isn't it, of recording? You seem
Yes.
to always get the shit one where you don't do as well on the actual recording, and on some of the failed runs you played like an absolute demon, but it was just not meant to be.
No, the same thing goes for when I tell you I do nice counterattack.
Oh, this swords are so good.
And you said I went for a regular deal in there. That was...
Yeah, I get you. Scary to do with these guys too, because they're quite dangerous, but I like the Lycans once you get used to them.
Yes, they do massive damage, but
Yes,
they're semi-fair. I feel that their move are not too bad overall. Maybe the body throw can be annoying sometimes.
Yeah, that's the worst thing in the world when they throw off screen and catch you out with that.
And it deals massive damage too. That's...
But conversely, they have a tough time navigating tables, which can be used to your advantage.
Oh yes, that section actually. I know the one you're talking about. I will combine the majority of the fight.
Combining more fights. Is this your first encounter with the Gargers coming up?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
These
So
guys,
interestingly enough, a lot of
nasty.
people wonder why the Gargers have breasts. It's one of
Yeah.
those strange designs. These crazy spiky ladies with the blades and the bobbles there on the chest.
And you know
Well,
why?
apparently, according to that wiki I was reading,
Yeah.
they were once mermaids. So that's
Ah.
the reason.
And that's why also they can basically go on water.
Yeah, that's the water element, I think, as well.
That's
Which
actually
I had no
interesting.
idea until I googled that.
But they're nasty piece of shit. But it's
Yeah, they are.
it's nice to hear that they actually have a little backstory behind them. It actually makes
Especially when
sense.
you fight them in the water.
They're the best enemy, Chris. Those guys.
Yeah, this is objectively the finest sequence in the game.
Yeah.
This is what we like to call popcorn enemies done right.
The design here is flawless. Those enemy are perfect.
I don't know why this screenshot isn't the front cover, because it's so enticing. I want to turn this game on right now.
Oh my god. Look, nothing much to say about these guys.
Plenty to say about these guys, but none of it good or nice
Not
to hear.
exactly, none of it good. I don't have nothing good to say on these guys because they should have never been there in the first place. And here is nerve-wracking, actually. Look at that.
Yeah, that Garger. Wow, spawned so close. Blood in the water. The Gatling gun is pretty good for this as well. It's surprisingly effective.
At first, I don't know if you recall when I was trying to do that section by fighting on the water. So it's the
Yeah,
worst,
I remember seeing that and
It's the
wondering
worst
what
thing
the
you
hell
can
was
do.
going on.
Yeah, it's the worst thing you can do. But when you don't know, you don't know. So,
No, it was ignorance. That's all it was.
so you're
It's
thinking,
just everyone in the chat was laughing because we're so used to just spamming this gun. Because
Yeah.
it's so good. And by good, I of course mean why is this in the game, Itagaki? If I meet you in real life, I will hurt you.
this gun is basically the best thing to use against those guys.
Like, can you imagine the development of these sequences where they're talking in a room about how they could make this better and how this will be designed? And the things that came up on the whiteboard were respawning mines and
yeah,
water combat against incredibly agile and lethal opponents when Ryu handles like a shopping trolley with one wheel.
Yes, I don't know how that went, and that actually made it into the game in the end. I have no clue what they were thinking, if they were thinking at all.
Things should die in one hit. This should literally be Flying Swallow spam the section. Make Ryu feel like a badass because he's running on the water, and don't make it actually anything to do with challenge. But we know Itagaki's completely against that. He doesn't see the point of something being in the game unless it's there to destroy the player.
Yes, and
There's some famous quotes about Dynasty Warriors which are absolutely brutal, but I love them a lot. Where he's saying he doesn't really get any satisfaction from killing 1,000,000 brainless enemies, and it's kind of true.
Yeah,
some people-
also he said a lot of game enemies are there for you to kill, and
Yeah,
in
punching bags.
in Ninja Gaiden, enemies are there to kill you. Which is
He's very critical of Devil May Cry, he's very critical of Bayonetta, all the other action games. He just feels like they are inferior to what they did with Ninja Gaiden. And some people agree with him, you know.
But I mean, what's your take? Because you have played both. If you could compare them, though, is it kind
See,
of true?
I was Devil May Cry before I was Ninja Gaiden, so I will always have a special place in my heart for launching an enemy and then doing 1,000,000 combos in the air until it dies. This is different, though. I think the satisfaction that comes with Ninja Gaiden is just how visceral and how brutal it can be. You can kill 30 enemies in 5 seconds if you do the right things in this game. You can't do that in Devil May Cry. It was not designed that way.
Well,
they're a completely different philosophy.
Well, you can
sorry.
maybe, but would be like an example would be using a Virgil judgment cut on LDK. For
Yeah, well,
instance.
I'm talking more like try killing a devil-triggered sloth, you know.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Try
not.
killing him instantly. And some of the other ones whose names I forgot because it's been a long time, but there are some tanky bastards that just live forever. Like, try killing that Proto-Angelo in Devil May Cry 5 when he devil triggers. Kill him in 5 seconds.
Yeah, no. I
When you're not
understand what you
spamming the breakers with Nero, you know?
mean. Yeah, well, does it count if he's in ragtime?
Well, even in Ragtime, I mean, like, Ragtime into the breaker would kill him, probably.
Like the Buster
When you're
one.
Dante, what are you going to do? Hit him with Faust? That takes like 50 seconds just to start. And then after that, he takes like 4 distorted real impacts because you can't distort them correctly.
Yes.
So they're just devil-triggered impacts, aren't they?
No, so it's true. It's very different. But me, I like both. Also, another thing, some people
I do
might
too.
think because I prefer, Ninja Gaiden, that I wouldn't like Devil May Cry, and it's not true. Me, I really enjoy Devil May Cry. I just think it's an entirely different philosophy and way of playing. And here I learned the hard way that it's actually better to go free aim like this, because if you don't, often you will get hit for some reason. And that's another thing I can tell you, that Lubu and Farnham said that when you do free aim in that game, that they're never supposed to hit you, and for some reason on that version I got hit plenty of time while I was...
So that's another difference we're noticing.
Exactly, another one.
Interesting.
And that's another one of those insanely boring sections. Like, to be honest,
This is so bullshit, this one, because
Cancer.
this literally exists to catch out somebody who's just done the sequence. You've got almost no HP, you've suffered that entire water sequence that you wondered why it existed, you see an area to escape this shitfest, and then they stick mines there for no reason.
and they do a lot of damage.
Yeah, you will die if you run into these,
So
because it stacks so much damage so quickly.
So overall, to me, this section is pure cancer.
Like, who enjoys this? Where's the enjoyment here?
No, that's the thing. There's nothing pretty about fighting those guys. I don't even know what's the point. I mean,
Well, there it is, isn't it, as well, the Itagaki adage, where he says some things in games can be a little imbalanced as long as they're beautiful, but there's no beauty here.
no, there is not.
No elegance, it's just trash.
You know what would have been beauty? Be able to fight those guys on water and switch from one to another with the dragon sword underwater. Like do something epic.
It makes you wonder where does he like spamming Gatling guns underwater? Like, judging by Devil's Third, I mean, maybe he does, because in that game, some of the mechanics make you question your own humanity.
Yes.
But I can't defend this, and I think that Ninja Gaiden 2 in many ways is a flawed masterpiece, but a masterpiece nonetheless. And then there's sequences like this when it just makes you wonder, what the hell were they smoking?
Right? And what the fuck? And did they test that? They were okay with this. They were
And you
shooting
know they did,
those
because we've
mines,
seen them testing. They tested Master Ninja, for God's sake.
Like, they put those mine there, and that's good. I mean, it's just respawn for 10 minutes. That's all right. It seems very fair. Like,
It's just very strange.
like, what the fuck were they thinking?
It's almost like when the testers
Oh.
played it, they didn't die enough, and thus they added more bullshit to make them die.
Did you see
Like
that
the
trolling
classic moment
fucker?
when... What happened then? Was he trolling you?
Yes, he was. I whiffed like some of my OT and such. It was really annoying. But go ahead, continue. I'm sorry that cut you off.
No, I was just going to say that there was a moment when a guy called Epic Name Bro, who was known for being a Souls player, he used to do lore videos about Dark Souls and Demon Souls, and he went to the From Software's headquarters in Japan, and he got to play Bloodborne before the game came out. And at the very beginning in Yharnam, there's a sequence where you take on a lot of villagers in like a square, or a big circle it should be, where there's these burning crosses and things, and guys with guns, and there's a big ambush happening there because you get completely overwhelmed. And when he was playing it, he didn't die, and apparently the director, Hidetaka Miyazaki, got kind of annoyed that he escaped the trap, because the whole point of that game is to get fucked by things you don't know are coming.
Yes.
And I can't help but feel like Itagaki was the master of that before Souls was even a thing.
So you think that's what he did, but the thing when you say that though, did he change it in the final version after and made it harder so that?
Well, look at the ghostfish, man.
Yeah.
Ghostfish were in this game and did not attack. And he saw that and he's like, what are you doing, bro? That's not what this is about. Make them do something or remove them. And now we have ghostfish.
And they have like the worst attack in the entire game. Like the way the AI approaches, you know, it's awful. Some of the worst. And that's actually, by the way, right now it's a very bad section.
This is crazy.
Yeah, this is a very bad section actually right now. Because that's another type of those gauntlet that you have multiple fight in a row and you cannot do anything else, and that's why I went and changed to the double sword.
Yeah, I remember this not so fondly from my runs of Master Ninja. This is always a tricky sequence.
They also they call the Gaija. They call like that.
Gaijas.
They have.
I don't know why we call them that, and I don't know why we call Vangels, but it's something that's always kind of been a thing, and I don't know where it stems from, but
I'm pretty sure it must be from the document in the game. You know how we find documents scattered around with ninjas?
You think it's in the documents?
Yeah, we never read it because in Ninja Gaiden Black, in the archive actually, there's book against the wall, like Book of Vigor, I think they're called, or something like this, and they actually tell you the stories of certain enemy in that game. So it's a funny thing to point out. It wouldn't surprise me if they're describing like certain of the enemy that you're gonna face, and they're actually giving them certain name. You know, it would
I like
make
it when you
sense.
have a bestiary that tells you what the creatures are, because it allows you to understand them a little bit better. I was always a big fan of Hideki Kamiya when he used to put in quite interesting character backgrounds for his enemies, and sometimes on those pages it would tell you weaknesses and strategies against them and things to do, which I think that's a really nice touch when devs do that.
It is nice because it rewards you for, you see their glitch by the way there for some reason. It rewards you for searching and reading a little more instead of just skipping stuff. And that's an opportunity here when they're stuck like this. I don't know what causes that exactly for them to freeze up. It actually happened to me a couple of times through the game.
It must be a pathing problem.
Very rare though. It's very rare. And here
There's so
I
many.
actually got surprised because I wasn't sure what was the trigger point, and when I reached it, it was a bit like a what the hell is happening, and I got out of
He
there.
likes that design, Itagaki, with the enemies, how they rush you from out of an entrance.
Yes.
If you watch that making of documentary, there's a moment where when he's climbing onto the bridge in the chapter before, he mentions how he doesn't like how the enemies are all stood around waiting, and he makes them run towards you. So I think a lot of these spawn segments where the enemies literally run in from off screen are all a repercussion of how he likes to not have the enemies stood around.
And it would make sense, like the way he is, you know, it would make logical sense.
I think it's a cool idea. It's one of those things that not a lot of people think about.
And it's one to surprise you. You don't think that you're gonna come up around that corner and that there's gonna be a bunch of enemies
And
jumping
it does
on you.
surprise you every single time.
So that, I mean, at least we're done with that section now. And
You see, now here is where I watch the stream from.
yeah, okay. So you miss that previous section. That
Missed
well,
the
now
whole
you
start,
get to
yeah.
have seen it. I'm not gonna do that fiend challenge because that's the one I told you with the wolf and the fiend dog, and that's one of the worst piece of shit there is in the game. So
Not fun.
not fun, not gonna happen. I don't even know what it gives, but even if it did give
Ghostfish.
a
That's what
spirit,
it gives you every time.
ghostfish. at the end. There's some that don't give ghostfish. I think it's some further in that will give you ghostfish in one of the chests, and that was a nice dodger of the electric energy
It
bubble.
was, yeah.
And also there's one, because usually there's more Van Gelf in here, and I think there's one that actually died in the water somewhere, because you see there's another one somewhere usually.
Isn't that a sequence where you got attacked through the wall by a gold Van Gelf?
Yes, it was on the left side, like basically the
Yeah.
right side here. Yeah, it was terrible.
Swooped
You
through
remember
the
that?
graphics and got you.
Yeah. But right now you see one, he died, because usually there's two, maybe even three. I'm not 100% sure, but he died because as soon as they fall in the water, they automatically die. These enemies are not suited on the water. So
It's interesting that. I wonder if you could exploit it to knock them into the water.
yeah,
Because that's one of those things I do like about games, you know, when they have an environmental that is usually the best way to
that
fight.
you can use. By the way, something I want to point out here, really important, because if you would rewatch it, I don't know if you did, but the Asian guy in that section actually...
I've not seen this part of his run.
He actually used the invincibility glitch where you cannot attack with your weapon, but you can actually run underwater, and I don't know if he did that because
Use an invincibility glitch in a
Yes.
no damage run?
Yes.
Come on now, bro.
Yeah. You use it.
I don't agree with that personally,
and,
but you know.
Yeah, you could go rewatch it, but I personally don't understand either why you use it, because there's a way to get in the water and the fish will just spawn as you get there, but you can straight up grab the key and initiate the boss fight, and you don't have to worry about the fish. Now,
That's a really good path.
what to say about that boss?
This is the best boss in the game. It's immaculately designed and it's fun every time.
It's because of you
Oh, wait.
that I committed, by the way, to fighting on the water. I really want you to know that. You said, be a man.
I think this looks so much cooler than spamming garbage on that platform.
I agree. And it takes, it's faster also when you succeed. Like the fighting on water, when it works out, like their opportunity, boom, boom, look at the damage.
Oh, I love the chunks Ninja Gaiden 2 provides.
Now, there's one way also to dodge the one where he goes underwater, like this here. If you do a flying swallow in the opposite direction, it's one thing that I've messed around with a lot, and I was quite happy to actually find that strategy.
That looks cool too.
So another opportunity, I knew it was going to go for the spike after, but look how fast that fight went. I mean, I was genuinely impressed at how quick. I couldn't have done it better, to be honest. I didn't even use all my tree nimbo.
That was awesome.
Like very flawless battle. Like nothing else to add about this.
Yeah, it was sublime.
So that's about it, guys. I hope
Master Ninja.
I deserve that, right? I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'm gonna let Chris conclude on that.
Yeah, thank you for watching, everybody, and supporting this run. I don't know if you've noticed what you're watching, but it's kind of history in the making and completely ridiculous. But yeah, thanks for watching, and you take care now.